everyone. I have a question for you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're doing everything according to the quote-unquote rules are for that behavior, but not getting the results you want? I see some nods around. People are responding. Well, there's a second question for you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you really need a job, but can't even get a single interview? Less nods, but still a response. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about how I finally got a job after deciding to break some of those rules that I've been told are the way to go about getting that job. There's a famous Mike Tyson quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, I was also following a plan to get that job, and it wasn't working out for me, and then I got punched in the face. Not literally, metaphorically speaking, universe punched me. But I'm going to argue that punch actually was what helped me to get what I was trying to get that job. So it's winter of 2010 and I'm running out of money. I've been applying to jobs for the last few months but not getting any responses. So every day I just go on job boards, read the job description, but usually disqualify myself because I find that I don't fit the criteria for which they're looking for. So then I try to decide, then I see maybe I can go into service industry, maybe be a bartender or a server or something like that. But guess what? I go on Craigslist or other job boards and send what feels like hundreds of resumes with a whole total of 0 responses to that. Guess what? Those serving and bartending gigs still require 5 years of high volume NYC experience. You would think that they need 5 years of training to know how to bring a plate of food from the kitchen to the table. But anyway, so I'm getting really desperate at that point, and I decide to just straight up lie on my resume. And I give myself a whole total of 1 year of experience, and I choose a restaurant that I found recently went out of business. That way they can't check my references. So I do that, and I keep sending out a resume with that, false information. And guess what? It works. I finally get a response to inviting me to come into a group interview. I'm excited, getting ready. Now let's fast forward to the day, February day, late afternoon that I'm going to this interview. It's in New York City, and it's actually right before New York City, last exit before New York. That time I lived in New Jersey. I'm driving in the car, and I'm driving listening to motivational CDs or whatever I had at that time. And I'm realizing I'm stuck, I'm thinking about something, and I'm realizing that I'm missing the last exit. And this is the exit that once I miss it, I can't go back. I'm going to miss the interview for sure, I know that. So I just, on the whim, gut reaction, try to cut from fastest lane to the exit lane across 3 lanes. And I succeed on 2, and on the third one, a truck comes in and my blind spot and clips me from the side. And, it doesn't kill me, everything's okay, but the bumper's on the ground and the car is not really super operational. I have to check it. Anyway, so thank God I'm okay. I pull up to the side, policeman comes over, they make a report. I just get a dirty glance from the guy in the truck who hit me because obviously it was my fault to some extent. But I'm sitting there and adrenaline is pumping through my veins. I'm realizing I'm not making this specific interview. But I'm listening at the same time, the motivational CD that was in the background on the car, it's still playing, I'm still listening to it. And I don't remember this time who it was exactly, if it was Tony Robbins or Zig Ziglar or somebody like that. It was one of those guys. But the message is just what I need to hear. Essentially the message of all motivational speaking is, don't give up, persevere, and you will succeed. Something to that extent. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what do I do now? Do I give up on this? I know I'm not getting this specific interview, but what do I do now in this situation? Do I give up and just go home? I mean, I do have a good excuse, right? I just got into an accident. But at the same time, if I do that, I would be admitting to myself that all those days or hours or however long I spend listening and reading to these motivational self-help books and CDs are all for nothing, because when the time comes to show something for that, I back down and I just do what anyone else without being exposed to that information would do. Anyway, so I decide to go into New York City and try to get a job. What's the plan? What am I going to do? It's a plan that just came to me at that moment. I'm just going to go and walk into the restaurants in person, something that I would never do before that, and see what happens. So I drive into the city. I drive into restaurant row, they call it, a street with a bunch of restaurants on it. And I start going door to door, and I go into the first one, and I tell them my story, and yeah, I'm looking for a job. Can you give me a job? Do you have anything now, later, next week? And the guy's like, no, we're all good, thanks. Going to the next door, same story more or less, right? And I get various responses from people, positive or negative. Anyway, long story short, I get to the point, I get to the end of the block, literally like one, if not the last, the one before the last. And guess what? I get lucky, and the guy actually needs help and tells me to come in next week. So I get a job. I feel very lucky. I feel good. I feel happy. I come out, and that's not the end of the story for this particular day. But I'm just gonna concentrate on this part of the day because I want to point out something the technique that I did that life sort of forced me on this specific day to do, which I would never do, right? Two things that led to it. I made up false information on my resume. Now that's ethically maybe ambiguous and maybe wrong, but I did something to get it. I did something to get some kind of a return on it, a result, and it led me to one step. And maybe because I lied on a resume, maybe the universe punched me in the face, metaphorically speaking, by helping me get into an accident. But another thing that I would never do is to just try walking into the restaurants and asking for a job, because what I've been told is that's not how you go about getting a interview. You send your resume, you pour over, you make sure the resume is perfect, and you send it out until somebody responds to you. But I guess I needed to be in the situation where my back was against the wall and I didn't have to rely on whatever the proper ways or the right ways of doing it, and instead just went with my gut and decided to take some kind of action, so I'm outside of the analysis paralysis and not in my head and doing something to get to what I need to do. So I guess next time you find yourself in a situation where something is not working, try the most straightforward approach and just ask for it. Thank you.